So I'd like to take a question now from the press.
Yes, hi. Ava Stavro from CTV. I wonder if it's possible for either Dr. Zavadnov or Dr. Zamboni to summarize the findings presented today in lay language when you were looking at iron deposits and the cerebral spinal flow. What do those studies presented today add to the understanding? And then I have follow-up if I'm allowed after.
I mean, I can comment on the SWI study, and Dr. Zamboni can comment on his hypoperfusion study. So clearly our attempt was very simple in a very small pilot study to look whether there is a correlation between amount of iron we see in the certain structures of the brain that we believe are important for iron deposition. And maybe somebody, I think Dr. Miller mentioned before, iron is storing, not just in MS patients, but in Alzheimer, in Parkinson, and in normal people. My personal interest in this new type of research is really beyond MS, because I would like to understand the venous function of the central nervous system in relation to aging, in relation to number of neurodegenerative diseases. And my research on iron might be very helpful. Now, one of the principal reasons why the iron is building in a certain structures, nobody knows really the answer, but it seems to be that the highest concentration of the ferritin receptors is physiologically present in those structures. And so where there is excessive iron, where there it's a primary, secondary phenomenon or result of, just mitochondria dysfunction and oxidative stress, the iron is building in those structures. So what we showed this morning is that there are certain pathways actually where the iron is building. And there are one important pathway is in the thalamus, and in particular in a region called pulvinar nucleus of thalamus that until now really was not investigated in MS by the pure reason that you can't see the pulvinar nucleus of thalamus. Very hardly you can see, if not on the SWI sequence, which is like 100 times more sensitive for seeing iron than other techniques. And our region number 1 to be investigated in the future studies will be pulvinar nucleus of thalamus. I have now several data sets that are pretty much showing very similar thing as in this first pilot study. And we need to understand what is the connection of this build-up in the thalamus with disability, lesions, and start of the disease. To make a parallelism to what is going in a conventional MRI research, if you have been yesterday on MRI imaging number 1 presentation of, I think, 9 papers, 6 or 7 have been on the thalamic and deep gray matter atrophy in MS. So we need to understand whether the deep gray matter atrophy in MS is a result of the iron deposition concentration and toxic effects.
May I just ask a follow-up? It has to do with the 500. You mentioned testing difficulties. What did that mean, and could that affect the prevalence rates that you've discovered as opposed to some of the other centers?
Thank you for the opportunity for asking this and answering this question, because this is something that clearly we did not speak about until now and will be in our clearly peer-reviewed paper when will be published. But we believe strongly that the type of the machine you are using is